Welcome to Tech Monster. In the previous tutorials, we learned about how we can set up a server in Fastify and at the same time how we can use JWT authentication in Fastify. In this tutorial, we will be learning about how we can set up the Swagger documentation for our APIs. So, Swagger provides a documentation to our APIs. What it will do is like whenever you are writing any APIs, if you give Swagger option to the API, then what it will do is like it will automatically create a documentation for the API, so that you can directly share the documentation link to anyone so that they can see the API documentation. So let us start with our coding part. Let us go to our server.js. So here we are in our server.js. To use this Swagger, we need to configure some Swagger options. So these are my Swagger options. I'll give these options in the description, so you can find it in the description. So let us create one file. So I am creating one file saying like swagger underscore options dot js. It's a JS file. So I created one new file, swagger options.js. Let me copy this to this swagger options. So we don't need this and save this file. Okay, once you save this file, open your server.js and just import the swagger options. So in the server.js, so we have to import our swagger. So saying like swagger, I'll just create variable called swagger and I will just require from my swagger options.js / swagger options. So we imported our swagger options. So to configure swagger into our Fastify server, we need one more node module called Fastify-swagger. So we need to install into our npm module. So let me install that. So what I will do is like npm I -- save Fastify - swagger. So if you install this one, you can get swagger in your server, so that we can import swagger and we can import the swagger option. So we'll just do that in a minute. So Fastify swagger got installed. So what we will do is like we'll just register into our Fastify module. So what I will say is like swagger configuration. So Fastify dot register. As I told, we have to register the modules which we are importing into our Fastify server. So what I will just do is like I will just require my Fastify swagger. So while registering this one, we have to pass our swagger options as well. Swagger dot we are importing these options, right? So just options. So as you can see here, we are exporting one options object. So we are directly just registering with the options object. So our Fastify swagger got registered into our server. So after that, what we have to do is like in our server.js, we have to call the swagger method. So let me close this one. We have to call the swagger method. So here, once this log info and everything is done, once server is started, what I will just do is like I will just call my Fastify.swagger function, so that your Fastify swagger will call and it will check in all the APIs wherever the swagger configuration is there. So now currently in our APIs no documentation is there. It's like a normal API. So what we will just do is like we'll directly put some documentation for this demo router. So to do that, what we have to do is like before the callback, we have to register an object. Okay, so we have to register an object, and after that we have to call this object as schema. As you can see, it is popping up. So in this schema, we have to give the description. Description is nothing but what is this API. So I will just give description as demo API route. Okay, after that, so we can give the tags are nothing but to which tag it belongs. So for example, if you have multiple APIs, some APIs are belongs to fetching some data and some APIs are belongs to fetching some data, so you can specify these set of APIs are for this tag and these set of APIs are for this tag. So like that you can specify in this tag. So what I will just do is like I will just give something called demo. My tag is demo. So after that summary, if you have any summary you can give it here. So after that, if you have any params like any query params or anything, any path params, you can specify in the params object. Currently I don't have any. It's just a simple get API, so I won't use anything. So after that, so my schema, my params got ended, so okay, put one comma. So here after this one, this is like further request. Now we have to specify further response. So what I will do is like I will write response okay, this is my response object. If my response is 200, then I will specify what I will get. So here I will specify one description saying like success response, something. You can specify your message here. After that, what type of message we are giving. Currently here we are sending one type as object, so directly specify the type saying like it's a object. Okay, it will return object. So inside the object we have to specify properties. So properties like keys, what are all the keys, it will come from the particular object. So I will specify like I will get properties like one property that is hello, and type of my property is string. Okay, so here I am specifying like I have a schema that is demo API and tags I gave. After that I gave one response. When we are getting 200 response, it will just check for the hello key is there in the particular properties or not. So it will return me the hello response. And at the same time, if I go to my Swagger route, I configured my Swagger route here. So here I have one route called documentation. My API server, I mean localhost colon 5008 is my host. I mean complete my API server URL. So localhost colon 5008 slash documentation. If I use in the sense, directly it will redirect me to Swagger documentation. So now let us run and see how it will work. So clear the console, npm run dev. I think we didn't add the script, so directly we can use server.js. So my server was started. So let me open my browser. So here is my browser. So what I will just do is I will just go to my localhost. Our server is 5008 slash documentation. As you can see here, all our APIs came. So we gave one tag as demo. So demo route came here. As you can see here, our complete Swagger documentation got opened. If you open this demo route, you can able to see like, so we didn't specify any parameter, so it is saying like no parameters are required. So when 200 came, it will give one response, it is saying. So what we will do is like we will just trigger our API now. I was using Google REST client for that, so let me minimize this. So 5008 demo. As you can see, I got hello. Okay, so here you can get to know like how to specify the documentation for our API. So now you will be having doubts like, so for example in this API I am giving one more key called hi colon hi. Okay, I was just saving my server, so let me restart my server again. 1 second, let me clear it. Okay, again I restarted my server. So if I send my request again, see I got hi as well. So let me check why, because this key we are not specifying in the properties, but still this key was coming. Let me check why. I got problem here. As you can see, the schema is opened here, but the schema is opened here and closed here. Because of that, I am not getting the proper validation. So now I just closed my schema here. So now this complete route is covered with the schema. So let me save this, and here node server.js. Now again I will trigger my request. As you can see, I didn't get hi. Why I didn't get hi? Because I didn't specify hi in my property. So if I specify hi and type colon string, so it should be in double quotes. Okay, so here now I specified hi. So if you go to my client and if I run it again, I got hi as well. So whenever you are adding the particular response in the documentation, you have to specify all the keys which are there in the response object. If you didn't specify in this documentation, it won't give the particular key. So if you see my, I'll just reload my documentation. So if you see this, you can see here. So whenever you gave this URL to particular person, they can go to this particular API. So this is not accepting any parameters. So when it is giving success response, they will get to know, like they will get one object saying like with this data type. So it is easy for people to share the API. So one more thing we'll see is like, so how to specify params and all. So for example, this is my demo route. Here I am accepting one path param called ID. Okay, so here what I will just do is like, if I am getting the ID, so I have to specify in this in my param. So what I am saying is like description. Here I will give description for the path, ID for demo API, some description I gave. So after that, this will be params type will be an object. Normally this params type will be object. So sorry, object, yes. So here in that object we can specify the properties, what properties we are getting, that means what params we are getting. So normally in the params we will be having multiple values. So in this case we are passing only ID. So for some APIs they will be passing colon, some again one more ID kind of things they will pass. So for that type of things we have to specify all the keys in the param. So currently we are getting only one param, that is ID. So I'll specify ID. That ID type will be number. Here I am specifying a number. Why? Because my ID is a number. So if you want, you can use string as well. So I'll just save this one and I will restart my server and I will send the request. As you can see, okay, so it is accepting for an ID. So I'll put slash and I will send. See, as you can see, I kept one slash, I didn't pass any ID. So it is saying like status code 400 bad request message params.id should be a number. So it is saying like you should pass a number parameter. So currently we are getting empty in the params, because of that it is saying like please pass the ID. So what I will do is like I'll pass some string. Okay, as you can see here, still it is saying you have to pass a number. So these kinds of validations we no need to handle in our API side if you put it in the Swagger schema. So okay, so here I will pass some 1. As you can see, now I got a response. So like this we can validate our APIs. So okay, so after that, so most of the people ask me like how we can do this validation for arrays. So as you can see, currently my API is returning one object. So inside the object there is one array, so saying like something called images. consider like images. So it's an array, it is saying url1 comma url2. I have two keys in my array, so this images is a type of array. So how we can specify this in this Swagger schema? So it is also a 200 response. Simply what we will do is like we will just specify the key. What is that key? Images. So and here we have to give the type as array. So what I will do is like sorry, just a second. So here this my image type is one second, yes, it's array. So images type is array. So here I am specifying array. After that we need to give one more thing called keys. Okay, the keys type is string. Let me check this. Sorry. So here I no need to give the keys. I can give directly items. So I can say items. Okay, type will be string. Okay, so I have images, type as an array. So in my array, each item in an array is a string. Okay, so again restart our server. It is saying some error. Where undefined, it is saying some undefined error. Let me check this. Yes, what we have to do is like item will accept an object. Inside that object we have to specify the type. Okay, so we can restart our server. Still error. Where like as you can see here my item spelling is wrong. So items, so save, clear. Okay, now if we trigger our API, we'll be getting one array saying like images, and we have the image URL. So we have to specify arrays like this. And one more thing what we can do is like in this case there is one more thing we will get mostly in APIs, that is like array of objects. So it will be like one array will be there, inside the array multiple objects will be there. So that also we will see how we can specify in this Swagger documentation. So here I am creating as array of objects. So sorry, inside this I have consider this object, same this object is there again inside this one. So one second, let us remove these images. Just we have one object here currently. So okay, so we just copied that object. Sorry, wait, let me create it again. Array of objects, it is not inside the object, that's why it is throwing an error. So what I will do is like obj arr something, I'll create a key like this and I'll copy my object inside this one. Okay, so to make it easy I'll just remove the images array. So I have object array, inside that object array I have one more object, it's like array of objects. So what I will do is like, so most of the people ask me like, so how we can specify this Swagger documentation for this one. So simply we can say like already we have images key. After the images key, so what I will do is let me format this code little bit so that, so okay, comma. So what is our key name we created recently? objarr. I will copy instead of typing, it is better. So what I will just do is like I will just open this one. After that I will specify the type of this one, it is a array type. Okay, after that I will specify keys. What are my keys type? My keys type is also a string type, so I'll specify keys, and this type of keys is, the keys type are string, so these are strings, right? So string. So items, same again, our items are objects, so type colon objects, sorry, object. Here we can specify the keys of our object, so we have to write properties. Inside the properties, keys, what are the keys we are getting? So that is, let me check it here, hello, type of this is string, next hi, type of this is string. Okay, so here I specified one object array, so the type of this particular key is array, so it has some keys called object keys, that means these things. So sorry, it has some object keys, so, and the object keys type is string, and it has some items, that items are like item will contain one object, right? So it's an array of objects, so object again properties, so we specify like this. Let's restart our server again. Okay, now we'll try to send this. As you can see, we got images and at the same time array of objects. We can specify array of objects like this. So in this particular session we learned about the Swagger documentation and how to configure the Swagger options and how to validate the request params and the response params. Okay, so I'll put this code in my GitHub and I will give the link in the description so that it will be easy for the people to understand. So that I will do, and at the same time the Swagger options I will provide in the description. So instead of providing the Swagger option, so okay, I'll provide the complete code in my GitHub and the link will be in the description. And at the same time, for this tutorial I used GitHub Sharp theme, and at the same time I am using a font called Fira code, so you can use. So that's it. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.